So hi, my name is Ariana, and today is our second group coaching session. The focus this week is on kind of navigating the first week of the whole 30 and how to do that just with, everything that comes with this first week. Common challenges that I've run into myself and that I've seen many other people hit as well. Saying no to the whatever it is that inevitably gets offered to you. When my little sister offered a homemade cinnamon roll on day 3, so, no thank you. Oh, but I really want that cinnamon roll, but no thank you. Beginning to build the mental muscle of no to the external temptations somebody offers you or the internal cravings that pop up. Adapting to the new routine, meal planning, cooking 3 times a day, or batch cooking to prepare, that can be tiring and frustrating. Cravings for old foods that you're used to eating. Fatigue, headache, malaise, and irritation, or being short on patience are really common symptoms for people as they are in this first week of the whole 30. And even Melissa Hartwig, the founder of the whole 30, like the co-founder, she started this whole experience for folks. Talks about on day 4 usually is when you wake up, you go to the kitchen, somebody smiles at you and offers you anything, and you just want to yell at them and turn around and walk back out the room. There's just this sense of frustration. And she talks about how that comes in part from this transition where, depending on how we ate before the whole 30, as this very frank language quote, remember the pre-whole 30 bender you went on, pizza, Jim Beam, jelly beans, etc. This comes back to bite you in the butt, so to speak. And it's definitely true that the amount of hardship you experience in this phase is proportional to what you were eating before, is how I'll paraphrase. And so, strategies for navigating this week and next week. The first half of the whole 30 can be more challenging. First, humor. I've had a couple of our participants reach out to me and share how they're using humor right now. And it's actually a brilliant strategy that, in terms of the neuroscience of the brain, when we're going through something challenging, the way that norepinephrine is working in the brain, if we infuse humor, if we laugh with someone, it kind of hits the snooze button and brings norepinephrine levels down, is how I understand it. And what that does is it makes it easier to keep going through what feels hard. So humor is a really important strategy. Crack jokes. See how you can laugh right now. Hydration and sleep seem probably really basic, and it's like, yeah, okay, whatever. And yet staying hydrated is really important for kind of flushing things out of your body. Sleep is crucial. It's one of the kind of best precursor habits you can pay attention to right now, because when you're short on sleep, or I'll say when I'm short on sleep, my impulse control goes down. I tend to eat emotionally more frequently. And I feel more cranky. And so it's harder to make the choices I want to be making when I feel that way. Conversely, if you've got humor, you're getting enough sleep, you're drinking plenty of water, you're being patient with yourself. These things help set up a baseline where you're it's easier to make the choices you want to. I also encourage you to reach out for support, whether it's, tuning in with me and letting me know how things are going, whether it's reaching out to your family, friends, the bigger whole 30 community that's out there. You can join a Facebook group, but do something that in some way has you connecting with somebody else about what you're doing right now. That can be a huge strategy for success, because it just helps you to feel supported, validated, heard. You can help to know other people are going through similar challenges or successes. In terms of why we would be feeling irritation and grumpiness, and the way that I wonder if I can move this. Oh, I can. I've got the Zoom screen's kind of in the way of my quote. So in terms of why we're feeling grumpy and irritated, it's probably because your brain is never very happy when you tell it that you can't have something, and take it out of its habitual and accustomed comfort zone. An unhappy brain is a stressed brain, an anxious brain, a fearful brain. And not to mention, hormones are trying to keep up with new food choices, your gut's trying to adjust to what's happening, and maybe you've had a headache depending on how you ate before. So that's why irritation and grumpiness are happening. Change is hard, and there's physiologically an adaptation that's happening right now. And now I need to figure out how to keep going with my slides. There we go. So I want to encourage, we just have a few more minutes of this presentation. I want to encourage you to think ahead. So if you surprisingly suddenly eat off plan, or you have a trip that suddenly comes up, how do you want things to go? And then more short term, just in the next week, between this Thursday and next, what do you need in order to be successful with your Whole30 in the next 7 days? So what easy to prepare foods do you need in the fridge? How much sleep do you need to be getting? Who do you need to reach out to feel connected and supported, whether that's me or someone else? What are the top 3 choices you can make in the next week that will help you to have the Whole30 you want to have this week? Yeah. And then what last quote? The point of the Whole30 itself is technically to identify sensitivities. So foods that are having a negative impact on your body, brain, and quality of life in sneaky ways that you've never tied back to your diet. So until you've done the full Whole30 by the books, which means 100% compliance for a full 30 days, you simply can't make that connection for yourself. These quotes all come from the Whole30 website, by the way. And the reason I include this here is to kind of set up the frame of this second to last slide, which is narrowing in on slip-ups. You know, if you have a moment where you eat off plan, what comes next? And this is where it's crucial to circle back to why you're doing the Whole30. So if you chose to do this for an intervention because of blood sugar, blood pressure, weight gain, not feeling good in your body, then it's very important to get the full 30 days where you have actually stuck to all of the guidelines the Whole30 lays out. And that's so that you get your best chance to experience what you feel like without all of the foods you're choosing not to eat. And then when you add those foods back in at the end of our reboot, then you can really clearly see, oh, when I eat dairy, it's not good for a couple days, you know, whatever it is for you. If you're doing this out of curiosity because you just want to know what you feel like after a Whole30, you're kind of just experimenting here, then again, you want to give it that full 30 days of sticking to the diet so that you know what you feel like. Conversely, if you're doing this just to realign your diet, you kind of got out of whack considering the pandemic and the holiday season, then it's kind of up to you. You know, if you have a slip up, do you begin over and start a new day one the next day? Or do you just keep going because this is about lifestyle. This is about long-term lifestyle. So it's okay if there's some slip ups. It's about sticking to your preferred way of eating most of the time, not all the time. Okay. So again, if you have a slip up, ID you actually accidentally eat the homemade cinnamon roll offered by your sister, which I definitely did on day 3 of my Whole30 once, and you want to complete a strict Whole30, then start over on day 1, just the next day. So if that happens on Tuesday, Wednesday is your new day 1. If it's more something like a travel plan, a trip that came up and it was just impossible for whatever reason, or felt really hard for you to stick to the diet, then at that point, you might choose to just wait for that trip to be over and then wait for like the next Monday after you get back and start day 1 on that Monday. But the point is, plenty of people have slip-ups. And so it isn't a success failure. That's not what this is at all. It really just comes down to, what do you want to get out of this experience? And then how can you start again? And let me know how I can support you, because that's what I'm here to do. And I have had slip-ups and I have kept going and then continued to have a great Whole30 and have learned a lot about my personal health and diet along the way. And so I would love to support you guys in doing that as well. And that is it for my presentation period.